In this video, we're going to be answering the question, are two cameras better than one? So welcome to the Do-It-Yourself Dad channel and welcome to Tech Tuesdays. Now in this series, we take bits of technology and we thoroughly test it. And at the end of the video, we go over all the pros and cons that we found in our testing so you can have an informed opinion of something before you go and buy it. Now, full disclosure, Reolink did send me this for review. However, they are not paying me and they are also not influencing what I say. They are allowing me to say whatever I want and give my honest opinion. So you're going to want to stay tuned to the end where I go over everything. Now, what this thing is, this is the Argus 4 Pro solar. So it also has a solar panel. What's neat about this camera is I've had other cameras on the channel that are 2K and some that are 4K that are pan cameras. So the camera actually pans back and forth. This is different. This is kind of like a 360 camera, but really a 180 camera, where it has two cameras, and supposedly what it does, we'll see during the testing, it stitches those together and gives you a 4K full 180 view. So if you're putting this on, I'm gonna put on the back of my house, I'll get a whole view of my backyard, one side to the other with one camera, which is pretty neat. It is battery powered. You can run a USB to it to power it, but what's neat here is we've also got the solar panel, and the solar panel has a USB cable coming out of it that should keep this thing charged up and running. Now, this is actually the first time I've had a Reolink camera on the channel, so this is the first time I've set one up in the app. Now, this is all set up through the app, and the one thing I did do before I started shooting was I did download the app and set up an account, but I haven't done anything else. So we're going to jump into the app and do this real time. So you're going to be able to see what I see and the experience I had setting up this camera. So we're going to jump into the Reolink app, and it's telling me here that I haven't installed anything because this is new. This is similar to a lot of other cameras from everything I've seen here that I've set up. So a lot of it is probably going to be a little bit more intuitive to me, but the little plus icon is going to add the camera, and it's telling me to scan the QR code on the back. So we are going to flip this guy around and scan the little QR code on the back of the camera. It's now asking me if I want to configure via Bluetooth or via Wi-Fi. Because I have not already configured the Wi-Fi, it's telling me I need to do Bluetooth, so we're going to go Bluetooth. And we're going to power on the device. Power button is on the bottom. Now the device should be powered on. Hear a little chime, and I see a little red light here on the front.
Welcome to Reolink. Please install Reolink app and scan the QR code on the camera. Willkommen bei Reolink. Bitte Reolink app installieren.
I guess we're going to get every language.
Bienvenue a Reolink. Benvenuto a Reolink. Si prega di installare l'app Reolink e scansionare il codice QR.
I don't know how many languages it has. Oh, looks like my phone interrupted it. So it's now connected. We're going to give it location services while using the app, and I'm going to put in my Wi-Fi password. I'm not going to do that on camera here because I don't need everybody in the world having my Wi-Fi password. And now it's going to connect to my Wi-Fi. So it's now asking for a device password. I've never had to do this on another system, so apparently you have to make a device password for each specific device, and that's what we are going to do. Now we get to name the device. I'm just going to name it Backyard because that's where we're going to put it. We're going to put it over the backyard. So we'll see how this goes. This screen, little interesting. It says camera should avoid pointing towards frequently moving objects. My backyard has trees in it, so they get blown around in the wind. We'll see how that goes. It says you shouldn't point it towards a strong light. It's going to be pointing due east, which means it's going to be getting the rising sun. We'll see what happens with that. Point towards heat sources. I live in the California desert, so heat sources, the sun, again, point towards a mirror. Fortunately, we don't have a mirror, but we have all those other three things, but I'd imagine you will too in a lot of situations. So we'll see if my situation works with this or what it's talking about. All right, so with that done, now it's time to go outside and get this thing mounted on the back of the house. All right, so we're gonna start the testing with the test that I do for every single camera I have on the channel, which is the reaction test. I'm gonna walk out this door into the detection zone, start my stopwatch as soon as I'm in that detection zone, and we're gonna see how long it takes for that camera to send an alert to my phone, because these are security cameras, so that's the kind of stuff that matters. So let's get outside. All right, so we're walking out the door and we are in the detection zone now. And we'll stand here and see how long this takes. All right. 6 seconds, that's actually a really good time. Most of my other cameras are in the 9 to 10 second range on those reactions, so 6 seconds is pretty good. The cat here is trying to make an escape. Not right now, Days. We're gonna close that door. But 6 seconds is not a bad time. A lot of my cameras tend to take between 9 and 12 seconds, so 6 seconds, pretty good time for that camera considering where it is on the back of the house. And actually, speaking of on the back of the house, I do want to point out my wonky mounting situation here. The camera is mounted on the back of the house, and because I didn't want to screw the thing to the roof, because I'm not sure where this camera is going to live full time yet, I kind of mounted the solar panel underneath the eave, so it's not getting that much sun. It's getting the morning sun, but nothing else. And right now, it managed to charge itself from 50% to 90% in about 2 weeks with active usage in the backyard, just with the panel. So even though the panel's not getting full sun, it's still doing a decent job charging it up. Now I want to show you a couple clips of what it's going to look like on your phone. Now this first one is downloaded in the low resolution. You have a low resolution and a high resolution setting. The second clip here is downloaded in the high resolution setting. And you'll see what's kind of neat about it is it gives you a full 180-degree view of the backyard. Now you can pinch zoom in to get closer up shots of things if you need to recognize a face or look up a license plate number or something like that. But natively it comes out of this big widescreen mode. But now let's take a look at some more shots that were taken at night. So we're in the backyard. I've turned off all my backyard lights. The only lights you see there are coming over from my neighbors. And I'm doing this because I want to show you how bright the spotlight is on this thing. So the spotlight just came on and you can see there, it actually does a pretty good job. Even though they're tiny little LEDs on that thing, I was surprised how much light it does throw. Now you can see it pretty much illuminates the entire yard. It's not enough to be like true backyard lights, but that's not what these are designed for. It's more just a security light to pop on. So either the bad guys, whoop, it just turned off. See, I stopped moving. So the bad guys know they're being watched and you don't trip over something and hurt yourself in the middle of the night. So now I've turned off the light completely and it should run in something like a night vision mode. So let's see what it does. Because right now I should actually see nothing come on. And my camera's not even grabbing focus here, but we'll see what the camera sees, what the outdoor camera, security camera sees right now. Now, if this camera does interest you, I will have a link down in the description and the pinned comment below, so you can read up on all the specs and check it out for yourself. And if I do come across any coupon codes or discount codes, I will also link those below as well. So now that we've lived with the camera for a while in the backyard, it's time to go over the pros and cons. We're going to start by going over the pros and then we'll go over the cons that I ran into. So first, the pros. This is a really neat camera, really neat concept. I've had a bunch of other cameras before that are pan tilt cameras. I've never had one that's a 180, half of a 360 cam situation. I kind of talked about that at the beginning, but it's got the two eyeballs or cameras and they face out and they give you a full 360 view. Never seen that before in a camera, but it's a very cool concept. It means the camera's never missing anything. I've had other pan cameras where in my other side yard, I have the thing pointed at the gate. It means if somebody's coming down from the other direction, the camera doesn't see it. It doesn't pick up to know to swing the other way. This one, because it's constantly seeing 180, it can do a full 180 sweep of your yard, the front of your house, the side yard, whatever. So in theory, depending on the shape of your house, 4 cameras would do the whole thing, which is pretty sweet. The solar panel on this thing is also a monster of a solar panel. It's one of the largest ones I've gotten for any camera that I've had before. And what that means is this camera right now, I have it on the back of my house, which means it's facing into the rising sun, just underneath an eave. This thing only gets direct sunlight on it for basically sunrise till probably around 11 o'clock. And then it's in a shadow for the rest of the day. And even with that, it has charged from about 60% when I mounted it up to 90%. And the camera portion itself is very compact compared to some of the tilt cameras that I have that have the full gimbal that runs back and forth. It's a very small, compact little package. So if you have a little place you've got to stick it and you don't want a huge, obvious camera, this one is a great camera to use. I also like that it has onboard storage, so you're not shoving stuff off onto the cloud, relying on cloud storage. It is all on that SD card. I did try pulling that SD card out and reading it on a computer. It's kind of a weird file structure, but you can get down into the file. So if something really goes sideways, you can get that card out. There is a downside to having the storage on the camera. We'll talk about that in the cons. Another thing that this camera did really well was the delay test that I run. I run this on every camera. If you watch any video that I've done, I do the exact same test where I walk on the detection zone, see how long it takes to get an alert. This camera did really well. It did pretty much on par or maybe a little bit better than average for all my cameras. And I've always found that a big part of the delay is my terrible internet upload speed. Thanks, AT&T. Now, when I first took the camera up and walked around the backyard, I thought the LED lights on it were very, very weak. And then I went into the settings and realized that out of the box, they're set up at like 40%. When you crank them up to 100%, they're good enough for a security camera light, so people know they're being watched, to illuminate the video and to make sure you don't trip over the cat. So it is that. It's not a full floodlight. Just to be clear, not a full floodlight, but it is enough to do its job as a safety light when it kicks on. And this is actually the first time I've had a Reolink camera in quite some time, and the app has changed a lot. And I will say the app is a very intuitive app. It's pretty easy to get through it. Everything makes sense when you go through the app, but there is a lot to the app. A lot of the other security cameras that I've used, they don't have as many features and menus to drop through. That could be a pro or a con. If you really want to get in there and tweak things, you can really get in there and tweak things. If you're a brand new user, I could see how it could possibly be overwhelming. I don't really know if that'd be the case, because right out of the box, the thing works fine. It's more if you're gonna have to go in and tweak things. And speaking of the app, it does give you the ability to do a lot of filtering, which most cameras do, to filter out false alerts. You can set up detection zones in the app. You can tell it whether or not you want to get detected for people, regular general motion, pets, or cars. Since I have it in my backyard, I have it set up to just do people and pets, because obviously if a car is in my backyard, I have problems. And general motion, I don't care if my trees are moving around. So I have it set up for just that. Once I set up those filters, which is actually in a different location than a lot of my other cameras, it was very easy to do, and I haven't had any false alerts. So on the whole, I think this camera is a pretty neat piece of kit. It's definitely unique, and that 180 zero blind spot thing is very cool. It's especially for a situation like my side yard. It's a real game changer. It means you need one camera and it'll always see everything. But with everything, nothing is perfect. So now let's get into the cons of the camera. This thing has excellent video in low light, but it has crummy video in no light. It has that light bulb on it that will come on and illuminate, and even when that light bulb's not on, when I have all my yard lights on, it is a beautiful image. It looks really, really good. But when I did turn off all of my backyard lights and the spotlight on the camera, so therefore I was in really low light with really no ambient light, that's where the video quality really fell off for me, and it really wasn't great. So you are gonna need some light to get good video, especially that color video at night. And then something to consider is storage. Now, the way I have the camera set up right now, I'm storing it all on an SD card on the camera. Now, if you're using it as a security camera, if somebody steals your camera, you're out of luck. If somebody vandalizes your camera or steals your SD card, you're out of luck, because it's all stored there. It's not stored out on the cloud. Now, Reolink does have a home hub that all your cameras can connect to, and therefore would save that inside your house somewhere secure. I don't have that. So right now I don't have that option, but if you are looking at this and you're concerned about that, also take a look at that home hub, because then it will have that, it'll solve that problem for you. This is in my backyard. It's more to keep an eye on the pool and the cats, so I'm not as worried about the camera walking off and me not having my footage. So I hope this video helped you out, and I hope going over all the pros and cons is helping you make an informed purchase for yourself. Now, I always do have links for this stuff down below if you want to check it out for yourself and read through all the specs. And I also always keep any coupons or stuff like that updated in the comment section and down in the description if you want to check those out. Now, if you do have questions about this camera, things that I missed, or other just here's and there's, please leave me a comment down below. I'm always happy to go down there and answer any questions or give any feedback that I have or updates that I have. Now, this video helped you out. Give it a great big thumbs up. It really does help the channel, and hit that subscribe button because I've always got cool stuff like this, tech reviews, DIY projects, and all sorts of neat stuff coming your way. And of course, thanks for watching.